Hi, welcome to a Talk About. In this video, I am reviewing Rakkety Tam, a book of the Redwall series by Brian Jacques. The book opens with the recorder of Redwall, Melanda, telling a story from before she was born. Gulo, the savage, a wolverine, is hunting his brother Ascor, along with Ermine and white foxes that are with him, to recover the walking stone, which is the symbol of authority and power and leadership. And his brother has fled to Mossflower after Gulo killed their father. Hither and Gem and Wandering Walt find the wolverine at one time, dying of a giant tree, and he tells a walking stone that believes his brother will never find, but tells a riddle of where its location to these two creatures, and these two creatures go to Redwall. Squirrel King Arltum and Ida Dray Queen rule an area. They're squirrels who rule an area south of Salamandastron, where Rakkety Tam McBurl and Doogie Plum come to. The king and the queen are very pompous and fat with their rule that these two young squirrels come to, and they get on their nerves. These two, Doogie Plum and Rakkety Tam, both become their warrior of their court. But they regret this decision, and they are imprisoned for their defiance of it. Tam and Doogie are needed again when a royal ceremony procession with the royal banner is attacked, and many are hurt and die, and they are needed to recover the royal banner. And they are told they would be released of their services if they recovered for the king and queen. And so they go after this stolen banner. Arflo, a young sea otter, gets his parents' permission to go see his cousins and sees hares being attacked by vermin along the way. Gem and Walt help the abbot of Redwall try to figure out the riddle they are given by the wolverine, along with Brookfeller Brookie, brother Gordell, sister Screeve, Demple, and Armel. And Armel has a dream from Martin about someone who needs his sword. Tam and Doogie are attacked by hares, but they are released and allowed to go along with the hares to find Gulo, the savage. Though they do not get along with a lot of these hares for a while. They both have their differences. They're young, a lot have to do with being young. They have their differences. Euphis Lightfoot, a vole, steals the banner from the villains, and Gulo thinks it's his brother and goes after it. Armel and Brooke go on a quest to follow Martin's words to give Martin the warrior's sword to the one who needs the sword, because that person lost their sword. And so they leave, but they get attacked. Tam goes to Redwall to warn of the coming vermin, but he and Doogie go back to save the two Redwallers, rescue them, and then they all hurry back to Redwall, where everyone comes to around the exact same time, and everyone basically comes to Redwall at this point. Tam and Doogie end up attacking the vermin outside of Redwall and do hit-and-run tactics that draw the vermin away, though some stay and attack Redwall, but Gulo goes after them, thinking it is his brother, and it chases after Tam and Doogie. Tam leads Gulo on a chase around the forest, and Tam and Doogie they get separated, though they are still going after the Walking Stone in the meantime, and they take Gulu on a wild chase across Moth's Flower on many different adventures. I would like to talk about some of the characters without giving too much away. There is, of course, Rakkety Tam, or Tam, who the book is written, is titled after. The main character, probably the most main character of the story, of course. He is a wild, adventurous character, warrior-like character, who becomes a leader and becomes someone who's respected, learned along the way, but I think early on he was already kind of a very respectful person, a warrior. He had to learn something. He's very wild, but and someone that people look toward in this story. And of course, there is Dougie Plum, who is Tam's best friend. They both share a life story together from where they come from. And he is very wild and adventurous like Tam. I would say maybe a little more wild, and I would say less leader-like, though he learns along the way. But I would say there's a little bit difference in qualities between the two of those characters. Brooke is a hare who is very funny. I really enjoyed. She has to learn a lot along the way, and of course causes troubles with other characters, but I really enjoyed. Of course, my other videos, I really like the hares, and a lot of times Redwall, they are my favorite characters, and I really liked her. There is the complicated character Euphis Lightfoot, who is a thief. He's hard to trust. He's generally on the good side, but he can kind of be against both sides. But he has a good heart, but that has to find him, and he has to learn along the way of the story. There, of course, is the main villain of the story, Gulu, the Savage, who is a very vicious, wild creature, Wolverine, very terrifying and dangerous, brute creature, who I think is probably one of the most scariest villains of all the Redwall stories, all the books. I would say he's smart, but I think he avoids smarts because of the fact he's so about his brute force and how powerful of a creature Wolverine he is. And so a lot of his way of thinking is just very brute, and so he ends up becoming not as an intelligent of the story, and he relies more on his brute force and less thinking through of things, and he just kind of goes with what he believes, because he believes that Wolverines are just tough creatures, and they are. So because of it kind of blinds him with his thought process because of his viciousness. I think there is smarts, but I think he is neglected in this story through this main character. This main character neglects a lot of smarts and thinking because of the way he uses brute force. Very scary though, creature in the story. So I really enjoyed this story. I really like the scary villain. I like the chase through Moth's Flower Forest. I like the riddle, finding the Walking Stone, and a lot of great characters. Were a lot of great characters through this story. And the villain, though not always cunning, very fun and interesting to watch and always be careful of. I also really like the map in this book. You got to see a lot of Moth's Flower Forest around Redwall, and the streams, and these creatures' adventures, and Gulu's chase around the forest. And I really like to see the changes over the seasons that you see throughout the books. So I always find this interesting. I like different maps of each book. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe. I hope to see you next time. Thanks for watching.